Pennies are no more. The Israel-Hamas ceasefire is in jeopardy. I'm shocked. And say goodbye to the fluoride calcifying your pineal gland. RFK Jr. has been confirmed. And more on this week's America Uncovered headlines. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Donald Trump has ordered the Treasury Secretary to stop minting new pennies, since, according to him, for far too long the United States has minted pennies which literally cost us more than 2 cents. This is so wasteful. Man, inflation is out of control. When I was a kid, a single penny was all it took to get someone's thoughts. Now there won't be any pennies, so it'll cost a nickel. Although with everyone sharing their thoughts on social media for free, the thought market is flooded anyway. And it couldn't pay me to hear half of them. So yet another brilliant 4D chess move from Trump? And I know what many of you are thinking. If you understand how the U.S. Mint operates, and who doesn't, the president doesn't have the power to do this. It's Congress that authorizes the manufacturing of coins. To which Trump would reply, sign, sign, sign. I love signing executive orders. Sign, sign, sign. Since this type of move is unprecedented, there's a bit of a legal gray area, and we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. Also, get used to hearing that sentence for the next 4 years. While pennies may go out of production, newspapers are going to be copying and pasting this about 40 times a day. You remember newspapers, don't you? White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has announced the Trump administration plans to raise taxes on sports team owners by eliminating all special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners. But wait, I thought Trump was supposed to be overtly corrupt and helping his fellow billionaires to rob this country blind. And now he's closing loopholes and taxing billionaires like he's pulling a page right out of Bernie Sanders' playbook? Strange times. Speaking of Trump and sports, Trump became the first sitting president to attend the Super Bowl. Trump has had more firsts as a sitting president than FDR, which is impressive since FDR was president longer and did way more sitting. Of course, Trump, being the pariah and universally loathed individual he is, according to many media outlets, was vociferously booed by all those in attendance. Okay, well, Taylor Swift, America's sweetheart, who's universally beloved, according to many media outlets, was cheered, right? Wow, it's almost like people need to step out of their bubbles and see the algorithms they're trapped in are more concerned with generating ad revenue than factual coverage. This goes for everybody. While some Trump supporters and even Trump himself are saying, or at least implying, Swift was booed for supporting Kamala Harris, Swift was much more likely booed by Eagles fans since her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, plays for the opposing Chiefs, who are going for their 3rd consecutive Super Bowl win. And nobody wants that. Outside of people that eat Kansas City-style sticky, sugary BBQ. Enjoy getting diabetes from meat, you heathens. Which reminds me, I'll be getting to RFK Jr. soon. Also, Swift grew up in the Philadelphia area and appears to have been a former Eagles fan before starting to date Kelce. This is the most backlash someone who was a lifetime member of one team got for switching sides since Donald Trump after switching from being a Democrat to a Republican. Speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, the big game was followed by chaos in the streets of Philadelphia as Eagle fans rioted over their team losing. Wait, what's that, Shelley? Wait, they won? So they did this because they were happy? Man, no wonder the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had to get out of there. Hey, remember how Trump joked about wanting to make Canada the 51st U.S. state? Well, it's sounding more and more like he isn't joking.
If they became our 51st state, it would be the greatest thing they could ever do. It would be unbelievable. It would be a cherished state. And think of how beautiful that country would be without that artificial line running right through it. Somebody drew it many years ago with a ruler, just a line.
He also again referred to Trudeau as governor.
I spoke to Governor Trudeau on numerous occasions.
Troll in chief. And as for Greenland, Georgia Republican Congressman Earl Buddy Carter introduced a bill that would allow Trump to enter into negotiations to buy Greenland and rename it Red, White, and Blue Land. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my deepest condolences to the friends and family of Satire, who tragically died this day. Google Maps is going to need to update way more than just the Gulf of America. And after the break, the fight to protect whistleblowers. Welcome back. Trump fired the head of an independent government whistleblower protection agency, but that has been blocked by a judge. Some are concerned Trump is going after whistleblowers, because whistleblowers were always kept so safe before Trump came into office. And Obama was so appreciative to Edward Snowden for letting the American people know they were being spied on. But don't worry, Chuck Schumer is here to the rescue, announcing the launch of a new portal for anyone who wants to expose corruption, abuses of power, and threats to public safety with the legal protections of being a whistleblower. And people did, by accusing Democrats of abusing power, being corrupt, and being a threat to public safety. Hopefully none of them blew any whistles on Hillary Clinton, because this portal just made them easier to find. I'm not suicidal, by the way. No reason I just said that. There's no denying Trump is shaking up the government. Like, just as one example this week, ousting the director of the Office of Government Ethics. Although it's worth noting he didn't shut the department down, he's just changing out who's in charge of it. Government ethics sounds like an oxymoron. But for those of you who are concerned he's overreaching, well, it might be comforting to know that for every bold move Trump makes, dozens of lawsuits are being filed and judges are there to slow down or block him entirely. Such as this third federal judge blocking Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship for illegal immigrants. This is like a giant game of checks and balances whack-a-mole, which sounds like the lamest version of whack-a-mole ever, which is impressive since usually whack-a-mole is the lamest form of whack-a-mole. I went into exhaustive, emphasis on exhaustive, coverage of Trump's battles with the courts earlier this week. Link to that below. So, how will all this play out? Well, since this type of move is unprecedented, there's a bit of a legal gray area, so we're going to need to wait and see how it plays out. Told you you'd be hearing that a lot. Another item that's been blocked by a judge is Trump's plan to possibly transfer the most violent illegal Venezuelan detainees to Guantanamo. Maybe the judge is just making sure there's plenty of room for Eagles fans in there. But Trump has victories this week. Tulsi Gabbard was confirmed as the Director of National Intelligence, and RFK Jr. was confirmed as Director of Health and Human Services. Within just a matter of hours of the Maha victory, the accumulated years of seed oils and fluoride began leaving the bodies of Americans. Our pineal gland opened up and we could connect with cosmic intelligences. And I finally became smart enough to play Hearts of Iron 4. Hamas said it would postpone its next round of hostage releases, claiming Israel broke the terms of the ceasefire deal. Meanwhile, Israel claims Hamas is the one breaking the terms by not releasing the hostages. And Donald Trump seems to agree. Even though the ceasefire has lasted less than a month, Trump says the U.S. might lose patience with it after seeing the emaciated state of 3 Israeli hostages released. And in response to Hamas postponing the next round of hostage releases, he issued Hamas an ultimatum for releasing the hostages.
I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock. And after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
Well, that was nice while it lasted, and it lasted longer than many thought it would, so yay. I'm sure Hamas wasn't particularly pleased with Trump saying there would be no right of return for Palestinians under his plan for the U.S. to take over Gaza. And no need for one, as their new homes will be much nicer. Meanwhile, on the Ukraine war front, Trump says Ukraine has essentially agreed to a deal that would give the U.S. access to $500 billion in rare earth minerals in exchange for continued support. And Trump says after a long, productive call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, negotiations to end the war will start immediately. Will this work? Well, since this type of move is unprecedented, there's a bit of, you get the idea. So what is Trump's end goal with his idea for the U.S. to take over Gaza? Is he going to build a new branch of hotels called Gaza? Some speculate this is just part of Trump's deal-making strategy. After all, he literally wrote a book on it. This outrageous proposal might be his big ask, where everyone's hackles go up, world leaders aren't sure what to do because they don't feel confident they know what Trump will do. So they go nuts, then Trump negotiates, gets what he really wants, and everything settles down. In this case, Trump is asking Jordan and Egypt to take in Palestinians from Gaza, which they're rejecting. Although Jordan's king did promise to accept 2,000 sick, displaced Palestinian kids, after Trump said he may withhold aid to the countries if they don't take in the Palestinians. Man, the news sure does move fast under Trump. So what is Trump's ultimate end goal? It's hard to say, but with Jordan and Egypt rejecting the idea of taking in displaced Palestinians, it does draw public attention to the fact that none of the other Arab countries want the Palestinians, which gets everyone wondering why. The answer? Hamas. Hamas is trouble that nobody wants. So Trump draws out the fact that just about everyone actually hates Hamas and gets the entire Middle East, minus Iran, united behind getting rid of them. And then everyone contributes to action in Gaza to do so. It looks like things may already be moving in that direction, as Secretary of State Marco Rubio said all these countries say they care about Palestinians, but none of them want to take them in. If they have a better idea for Gaza than Trump's, let's hear it. And according to the Wall Street Journal, Egypt has launched a diplomatic blitz to corral support for an Arab-led and funded initiative to rebuild the Gaza Strip, setting aside old political concerns in hopes of boxing out Trump's plan, which is wildly unpopular across the Arab world. So this might be Trump actually engaging in 4D chess. Or Trump could just be an absolute madman that wants to make a Gaza YMCA. But given how his proposed tariffs on Canada and Mexico got both nations to make a deal he wanted, it shows this businessman who said he wants to run the country like a business might be running the country like a business. Maybe he's pulling the same play by announcing 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. Mind you, this is all just speculation. It's just my 2 cents. Or I guess, thanks to inflation, my 2 nickels. And in my ongoing attempt to talk about things YouTube considers too controversial by hiding them in gaming content, check out this video about the danger of safe spaces according to the new game Metaphor ReFantasio. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thank you for watching America Uncovered.